What up, guys? It's Entrez coming at you with another Photoshop tutorial. A lot of people like my work and they wanted me to show some of the effects I use in my backgrounds and images. So I guess I thought I'd take a little bit of what they wanted and throw it into a video. So today we're doing a little tip on color correcting. For those of you who don't know what color correction is, in simple words, it's Instagram. It's photo filters. It's adding color and depth to your images to make them look more realistic or have better color quality. So we're working with a pair of shoes here. Feel free to use any image you like. I'm actually gonna put this image in a link in the description. These are some Air Force Ones I bought yesterday, so I thought they'd be pretty good for a tutorial. So to start off, open your image or this one. Like I said, it'll be in the link in the description, and double click to unlock the layer. So I actually have this one unlocked, but if you guys need to unlock it, just double click the layer. That was kind of a fail, but sorry for the inconvenience. So you can control J this layer, and the only reason we're making a duplicate of this layer is just so we can see the before and after. So you can rename this to image or image copy, whatever you like, and we're just going to hide this first layer. So the first effect we're going to add to it is called curves. And what curves does is usually take the light and depth or light and dark in the image and make it lighter or brighter depending on how much depth you want. So we're going to start off by making a point up here. And we're just going to move this point up just a little bit, not too much. And then we're going to make a point down here and just lower this down. We're going to move it up a little bit. That's about good. And if we move back to our layers panel and we hide this image, you see it looks a lot more depth and has a lot more color to it than the original image had. And sometimes you can go a little overboard with this, so we're going to go to properties and we're going to just pull this up just a little bit more so it doesn't look too unrealistic. Move this down about here. It's about good. And I think the white's okay. So let's move back to our layers panel. You can rename this if you like. I'm going to just name it to curves instead of curves 1. Because I'll probably name the next one curves 1. And we're going to click on this little half circle icon. And then we're going to add a gradient map. And a gradient map's a really big effect that's used in color correction. So what we're going to do is switch over back to our layers panel. And we're going to turn the opacity down to about 7. Anywhere around there is fine. We're going to go to our properties and we're going to switch this gradient to something a little more pleasing. Gradients that are already in stock with Photoshop that you don't have to download look best with color correction, but if you have some of your own, feel free to try those out. So what we're going to do is find one that looks nice on our image. I think this blue one actually looked the best, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to click OK, then move back over to our layers panel. And then we're going to add a photo filter, which really adds a lot of orange to your image. So you can mess with the density depending on how much you want it to show up. It's kind of like opacity, but I'm going to keep it around there, kind of around an old brownish color. Bring that down to about 4. And you can add color if you like. I usually keep it just at orange, or you can try a little bit of white if that's what you're going for. But we can try adding a little blue. Just add OK. Then we're going to go back to our layers panel and see if there's any more effects we can add to these. There's not too much to add, but you can make it a little darker by adding a brightness and contrast. So if we add the brightness, of course it'll make the photo lighter or darker depending how you want it. You can go all the way dark or all the way bright. Somewhere in the middle is good, kind of for studio lighting or anything like that, because you want it to pop out just a little bit. You can also add the contrast, which doesn't look that well, but it can work at times. I'm going to keep that around 69. Add the brightness to about -34. And you can check this use the legacy option, which makes it just a little bit different, but I don't really use it that much in my effects and things, so it doesn't really matter for now. Then you can move back to your layers panel. So if we hold shift at our top layer and select our bottom layer, we can hold Control G, and that'll group all our images into one folder. And the reason we do that is because we kind of want to see our before and after. So if we check our background and uncheck our group, you actually see the difference that it made. It actually did make the picture look a lot better than it did before. But there are a few more effects we can add to make this look a little bit nicer. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this little arrow on the group. We're going to select our brightness, and then we're going to create a new layer. And I will grab my feathered brush. If you go to your settings, it should be one the first before the last brush. Around 463 is good. And we're just going to paint this on around the edges of our image. Have a lot of emphasis and focus on the actual image we made. So that's around good. And you can also affect this if you didn't get it in perfect circle around 422 on your eraser and one of the last brushes, and just do a little correction if you got just a little too much black in it. Okay, so that's around good. I'm just add a little bit more black around the bottoms. Right here. See how it's square to put that back. And depending on how deep you want it to look, you can turn the opacity down. Something a little reasonable, that photo filter effect. But I'm gonna just keep it around 92. Looks good. One more thing you can add to make it look a little bit more shiny is creating a gloss. So once again, we're going to click on our brightness and contrast. Go to create a new layer right above it. And you can actually rename the layer we just made before to shadow. And I'm going to just highlight this once again. And this to shadow. And I had caps on, so I'm going to redo that again. Shadow. And then you can rename this layer we're working on right now to gloss. And if you see, I took a second to minimize this so I can put it back in our preview so we can see our effects. So just, if you had it in the way I had it, just press maximize. And then we're just going to throw this back onto our palette. And now that we have that, we're going to add our gloss. We're going to select our pen tool. We're going to make a point at the bottom and a point across. And we're going to just make this so it has a nice curve. And then we're just going to close the polygon by closing all these points together. Right click, fill path. Make sure the color is set to white, opacity is on 100. All the others should be default. Click OK. Delete the path. And then turn the opacity down to something reasonable. Around 14 looks good. Now we're going to add these, we're going to close this group. You can rename this group to color correction or CC, which is the abbreviation for color correction. So CC. And then we're just going to create a new layer, which will create one right above it. We're going to grab our text tool. And for a lot of hip-hop style or anything like that, or any type of urban style, a really good script font will look well on an image like this. But I don't have one downloaded right now. So I'm going to just find a nice font that will work well with what I'm doing. So I'm going to grab Bitsamishi. And hopefully I said that right. Probably didn't, but not a big deal to me. And we're just going to grab our text layer. Once you have your text layer selected, we're going to switch the font to about 36 and start typing. I'm going to type my name, Entrez. And Control A to select the whole thing. And to make this just a little bit bigger, around 72 should be fine. And you have my name, Entrez. You can put on, I'm going to put it on the shoebox, or you can put it anywhere you like, but I think it'll look better in the bottom corner. And we're going to right click, rasterize type, and then we're going to double click on a layer. And once this option comes up, we're going to add a drop shadow. We're going to add the distance to 0, spread to about 18, size to about 13. You can see the effect it makes on the text. And we're going to turn the opacity all the way up. Now we're going to add a gradient overlay. And we're going to switch our colors from black by just double clicking in this box. And this gradient editor window should pop up. And I'm actually press cancel on that. You shouldn't have that problem. I just clicked it one too many times. So we're going to choose our white color and we're going to double click to switch the color. I'm going to find a nice blue. Click OK. But before you click OK, what you want to do is copy this number down here, which is the HTML code. Right click and go to copy, or you can just Control C and I'm click OK. And then we're going to click on our black and we're going to right click paste or Control V and you'll get the same color. And we want a gradient, so we're going to just make this color a little bit darker so it has this transcending fade from one color to another. And we're going to click OK. Click OK again. We're going to add an inner glow. Going to add the blending mode to overlay or overlay. Switch the color to white. Add the opacity down to about 12. That looks good. You can add a stroke of 1 if you'd like to have a sharper edge on your text. And we're going to click OK. And if we zoom in on our image, we're actually going to hide these effects. You can see it down in the right hand corner. It looks really nice. You can add something on the bottom like your slogan or anything like that, or put it on the shoes depending on what you want. So for now I'm just keeping on the shoes. I think that looks pretty nice. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Please comment, like, and do all that good stuff, and tell me what you think of the tutorial, and also tell me what you guys want next. I'm Entrez, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.